Briana De Jesus had a chaotic journey throughout her years on Teen Mom, but has her time on the series come to an end? On the last season of Teen Mom Family Reunion, Briana violated her contract and was asked by producers to leave. So where does she actually stand with MTV today? In January, an episode of Teen Mom Family Reunion revealed that Briana, her mom Roxanne, Ashley Jones, and her mom T were all kicked off the show because of an insane fight. All four women have quick tempers, but Briana and Roxanne's involvement in particular wasn't exactly shocking. Briana and her family have often found themselves in hot water in the past due to their problematic behavior. In 2018, Briana and her sister Brittany tried to brawl with Kel Lowry while filming a Teen Mom 2 special. In the latest feud, Briana's role was surprisingly different, but before the fight, all the cast members had met up with Coach B for a group exercise. They were also kind of settling into place since it was only the second day of the vacation. At the resort, the girls and their moms were sitting around the picnic table outside. Caitlin Lowe brought up how they should all be supporting each other instead of tearing each other apart, including on social media. That's when things took an unbelievably messy turn. Believe it or not, the first person to actually start drama was Roxanne. She agreed with Caitlin that none of the moms should be hating on each other, but for some reason she then decided to take a very obvious dig.
And to get it from a mom in the group is bad.
When Roxanne made the pointed remark, she also clearly gestured across the table at T. Not surprisingly, T wasn't about to just let the comment go.
Let's talk about it.
Right about now.
What's the problem, Roxanne?
Apparently, Ashley and Briana's tension with each other had started long before the family reunion confrontation. Roxanne explained that when Briana had a falling out with Kale, Ashley got involved when it wasn't her place, but she seemed to be conveniently forgetting all about Briana's previous petty behavior. Briana's beef with Kale started for a ridiculous reason in the first place. Briana dated Kale's ex-husband and then later got very close with another of her baby daddies, if you know what I mean. But Briana also had Brittany and Roxanne on her side as usual. They all confronted Kale behind the scenes of a Teen Mom 2 reunion that was somehow okay for Roxanne to do, so her major problem with T was incredibly hypocritical. Ashley, who happens to be friends with Kale, had gone live on Instagram to talk trash about Briana. Then T made some negative comments about Briana on her social media, which is why Roxanne was originally feeling upset. At that point, Briana had been trying to stay quiet while her mom cursed and yelled at T. But right after T stood up and started loudly cursing back, Briana and Ashley also became unhinged. Ashley and Briana jumped up and joined the shouting match that their moms had started. But when Roxanne grabbed a nearby stool, the heated conversation quickly took an outrageous turn. Thankfully, Briana and a couple of security guards stopped Roxanne from throwing or lifting the stool any higher. But while the guards led Briana and her mom inside to try to stop the fight, all four women were still screaming and going absolutely crazy. So Roxanne and Briana managed to calm down in the kitchen, but when Ashley and her mom walked in, Briana was still bothered by what had happened, but she claimed that she wanted to steer clear of any additional chaos.
It is what it is at this point.
Oh, you can say excuse me.
Unfortunately, Roxanne wasn't as determined to stay in her own lane. After T called her out for intentionally bumping into her, she completely denied it. But that wasn't all. Roxanne told T to stop being dramatic and continued to deny even brushing against her as she walked by. But when the footage was slowed down, the truth was undeniable. Roxanne definitely bumped into T on purpose, but she refused to own up to it. Briana tried to prevent the squabble from turning into another full-blown feud, but as soon as she told T that it wasn't a big deal, everything came crashing down. T told Briana that she didn't want to talk to her as an attempt to stay respectful. That triggered Roxanne, who pretended to be shocked that T had a change of heart about respecting Briana. But what happened next was a seriously bizarre turning point. Roxanne once again denied bumping into T, which prompted Ashley to get involved. She wasn't wasting any time either because she immediately said they could take the argument to a physical level. Briana climbed up on the counter in preparation to fight. There were several security guards on the property and it looked like most of them were in the kitchen, but the other girls and their moms had gathered around as well for a truly unbelievable reason. Some of the cast members were concerned about Ashley's safety because she had told them earlier that she was pregnant, but since she and Briana had hadn't been on friendly speaking terms at all. Briana allegedly had no idea that Ashley was expecting. Before anyone could say anything, Ashley made the first move in the altercation. She couldn't reach Briana to actually hit her though, so she decided to resort to something really disgusting.
She spit on me.
Needless to say, Briana was no longer in the mood to stay in her own lane. She was being held back by a security guard, but she was still able to grab a large metal water bottle from a nearby shelf. Unfortunately, the heavy water bottle didn't directly hit anybody because there was a lot of force behind the throw. Guards managed to separate Ashley and T from the rest of the cast, and they were directed to wait outside. But then they had to explain what had happened to someone pretty unexpected. The show's executive producer, Larry Musnick, sat down to talk to Ashley and T about the fight. He said that they would be staying in a hotel for the night, which seriously upset T and Ashley. Meanwhile, Briana was trying to get back into a totally different mindset.
I'm being calm because I don't want to go home because I want to stay with you girls and I want to enjoy the experience.
Despite Briana's attempt to settle down, she and Roxanne were also eventually told that they'd be staying in a hotel that night. The next morning, Briana and her mom went with Coach B, who also had a separate meeting with Ashley and T, but neither party believed they were in the wrong. Briana claimed that she acted in self-defense since Ashley had spit on her first, but Ashley kept repeating that she and her mom hadn't started the fight. Although each of them wanted to believe that they were innocent, the producers clearly disagreed. Apparently, all of the cast members had signed contracts that stated that they would not engage in any kind of physical altercation because Briana could have caused serious injury by throwing the bottle and Ashley had spit on her. They both violated their contracts. Briana, Roxanne, Ashley, and T all had to leave the show, which came as a surprise to some of their castmates. Caitlin, Kayla Sessler, and Jay Klein all felt like it was unfair of the network to ask Briana to leave. Briana was very emotional when she was packing. She didn't understand why she was being kicked off the show at the time, but a few months later, her tune had ultimately changed. Briana revealed on Instagram Live that she understood why she and Ashley both had to leave, but at the same time, she was still sad about not being able to stay for the rest of the season.
Who wants to leave and lose out on money, right?
However, she still believed that she hadn't really started the drama.
It was more of like my mom having an issue. Not necessarily mean.
But she didn't exactly pin the blame on Ashley either. When one of the followers asked if she was fired from all the Teen Mom shows, Briana set the record straight.
Technically, I got removed from the show. I didn't get fired or anything.
Briana's removal from the show only applied to the rest of that season though. She sounded confident that if there's another season in the future, producers will ask her to return.
If there's another season, I'm sure they'll ask me to do it.
But when Briana was expected to be in the same area as Ashley last fall, she left the stage before the two could come face to face again. They were supposed to be filming the reunion for Teen Mom, the next chapter, with the other mom. But backstage, Briana put a firm boundary in place. She made it clear that she didn't trust herself to control her anxious emotions around Ashley. She explained that she regretted lashing out on Kale back in 2018 and didn't want to repeat history. Ashley and Briana ended up filming separately, but there's no telling what the future would hold. In March, Briana posted a vague clip to her Instagram story. It showed a big professional camera pointing at her, and it looked like the ones used by MTV's productions crew. Unfortunately, Briana didn't add a caption or mention why she was filming, but based on another photo she shared that had a similar camera in the background, she's most likely filming for the next season of the next chapter. If Briana truly is filming for a Teen Mom show again, let's hope she's finally learned her lesson about not getting into physical fights. But now that we've gotten to the reason why she was kicked off last season for family reunion, I'm curious, do you think that Briana should have been asked to leave or should have been given another chance to stay? What are your thoughts on Briana and Ashley being allowed to come back in the future after physically fighting and violating their contracts? Let me know in the comments below.